Hey guys, what is up? It is me, Pagey here, once again with another video on The Flash Season 4. So this is going to be my trailer breakdown for episode 12 of this season, otherwise entitled, Honey, I Shrunk Team Flash. But of course, before we get into anything else, let's actually watch that trailer.
I doubt you're just another bad guy. Why don't you just tell me what really happened?
They took one look at me and decided I was the guy.
That guy could still be out there. I have some friends that could help.
We are gonna need a confession from Dr. Shrinker.
I think we got bigger problems.
You okay, guys?
We're 2 inches tall, Caitlin!
Yeah, I'm like Cisco size now.
Look what you did.
You're still annoying at this height.
You guys are going in the hamster cage.
The Flash, all new this Tuesday at 8/7 Central on the CW.
So obviously the title for this episode in Honey, I Shrunk Team Flash is obviously a reference to Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, that classic movie that I loved watching when I was growing up, so hopefully a decent amount of you enjoyed watching that movie as well. But before we get into the rest of the video, I will actually be starting a giveaway at the end of the video for a Funko Pop of your choice from any of the Arrowverse shows, from like Arrow, Flash, Legends, any of them, so stick around until the end of the video to find out how you can win those. But essentially in the last episode, we saw Barry's introduction to jail and getting used to it, and also coming across a unlikely ally, if you go by appearance, in Big Sir, who was actually a friend of Henry Allen's when he was in prison, as Big Sir actually had his life saved by Henry Allen, who was a doctor, and actually told him like, yo, your appendix is about to blow, maybe we should, get you on the surgery table and get that out. So Big Sir was able to help Barry with all of that, and then we also saw Ralph on the outside, officially becoming the elongated man, which is awesome to see. Now, I doubt we're going to get any of that in this episode, just going by the trailer, but it was awesome to see him officially get that new suit and also be called the elongated man by the press. But we will quickly go over the synopsis for this episode just to get like a better idea of what's going on in this episode. But before we do that, be sure to let me know in the comment section down below what you're looking forward to most in this episode, as well as being sure to leave a like on the video if you're going to enjoy it, and subscribing to the channel if you're new. A meta who can shrink anything he touches battles Team Flash. Cisco and Ralph get caught in his crossfire and are shrunk to miniature versions of themselves. Cecile realizes her pregnancy has caused her to have temporary powers and discovers she can hear other people's thoughts, which unnerves Joe. Meanwhile, Barry meets someone with a mysterious connection to Henry Allen. So in regards to that synopsis quickly, that last bit about Barry meeting someone with a mysterious connection to Henry Allen, I think that's Big Sir because this synopsis was released like 2 or 3 weeks ago, so it was before we actually met Big Sir in this week's episode that just went past and learned that he was connected to Henry Allen. So I think that's what they mean by that synopsis, so maybe don't look too deep into that last part. But the first part of the trailer is just Barry getting closer to Big Sir, just learning more about his past and essentially how he ended up in prison, because Barry's probably getting to know Big Sir and realizing like, hey, you're actually a pretty good dude, or a pretty nice dude, just good dude in general, so how the hell did you end up in prison? And it looks like we're going to get maybe not a lot of Big Sir flashbacks, but at least 1 or 2 that are going to relate to how he got into prison and that he didn't commit the crime that he was charged with. You can see blood on his hands here when he is getting handcuffed by the police, so he must have been helping the person who was injured and probably ended up being killed, but was actually seen as the one who caused it due to his appearance. Like, he must have been, it looks like he's wearing a hoodie in the trailer, and he's just a big dude. He might have had tattoos and stuff all over him. So maybe the police were like, well, this dude obviously did it. He looked like the criminal that they thought he was. And with Barry being the nice guy that he is and knowing that the real guy that did this is out on the, on the outside, obviously, Barry's going to try and help Big Sir from the inside. So this is actually a really cool thing they're doing in this episode, where even though Barry is locked up, we did see him using his powers in last episode, but he's actually doing something without his powers in this episode from the inside, which is actually amazing. So the real guy is still out there, and Team Flash is actually going to investigate it with Joe, Cisco, and our new favorite friend Ralph. Unluckily for those 3, and in particular Cisco and Ralph, he has a goddamn shrink ray. Now, I'm guessing he stole it from somewhere. I doubt he made it. So maybe Palmer Technologies, maybe he made a visit to Star City, went to Palmer Tech, maybe got some shrink ray stuff and designed his own gun or something. I don't know how they're going to explain this. Who knows what they're going to do, but it's going to be very interesting to find out what it is, because the synopsis says like a meta who can shrink anything he touches, but it's obviously a shrink gun. So yeah, this synopsis must have been from a while ago, and they changed like his meta human powers. It's not even a meta really. He has a shrink gun. So what the hell's going on here? This synopsis is a lie. But regardless of the synopsis being completely wrong, this all leads to Cisco and Ralph being shrunk by this shrink ray. And boy, is this going to be hilarious. It's not just because they're miniature, but even their voices. Like, they sound like chipmunks. Like a lot of you guys have been saying my recent videos have been, because they keep getting sped up because YouTube's got that problem. This is going to be really funny. It's going to be interesting as well. I think I did bring this up in the video where I was going over the initial synopsis. I was wondering, okay, are Cisco and Ralph going to have their abilities when they're shrunk? So is like Cisco going to be able to open like little mini breaches, and is Ralph going to be able to like stretch all over the joint, but as his like mini version? I was wondering if that's going to happen in the episode. We don't actually see any sort of like evidence to support that in the trailer, so I guess we'll have to wait until the actual episode's out to see if that's actually what's going to go down. But just going over one thing from the synopsis which isn't in the trailer, and that is about Cecile getting temporary powers from her pregnancy. Now this has been a big talking point ever since this synopsis was released, because a lot of people were wondering, okay, is Cecile now a metahuman? Because obviously her fetus, or her baby within her, is going to be a metahuman through some form. We're going to have to see how they explain that, maybe in this episode, but in the back half at some point. But these are going to be temporary powers, as the synopsis does say. Now this does not mean that her baby has those powers. This is just like an offshoot, and this is like, because she has like the meta gene technically flowing through her, she's given a specific set of powers, and these are the, the thought hearing powers, which it's going to be interesting to see how they play out in this episode, whether they're more directed at Joe, or possibly she can use them to help solve this case in this episode, and like read that dude's thoughts and know that he's the one that committed them, or committed the crimes, might I say, and then play out like from there in this episode. I wonder if she's going to play a part in that, or if it's going to be, just as I said, directly at Joe, and maybe he's having second thoughts about the baby and weird thoughts that Joe's having that Cecile isn't, the biggest fan of. They might just focus on that, and that could be like a side story in this episode. But like I always say, we'll have to wait and see how it plays out. There are two other questions though going into this episode that a lot of people are probably wondering. The first one is whether we will have like any Clifford DeVoe in this episode, or Dominic, or even just Marlize DeVoe in this episode at all. Sorry, might I say, like last episode, we didn't get any. There was a mention of it that they were just surveillancing them 24/7, trying to get something that they were doing wrong. But really, that was just, I think Iris mentioned that from memory, but that was about it. There was no other mention of what was going on with the DeVoes in that episode. So I wonder in this episode, even if it's just like an end credit, that's what I would expect, to be completely honest. We might get like an end credit scene with the DeVoes and just like some slow evolution to what they're doing this season, because they can't leave it for too long. I think they could leave it for next episode, like not show anything, but the next episode they have to show some of the DeVoes. They can't just skip out on the big bad for the season like that. They have to show us a bit more. So maybe no DeVoe in this episode coming up, but hopefully the next episode they have to do it in that episode. They can't skip it for too long. So yeah, if you're wondering if we're going to get any DeVoe action coming up soon, maybe this week, but definitely the next week, because I don't think they'd skip it out for that long. And obviously at the end of last episode, we saw quote unquote Dawn Allen in Jitters writing in her journal, as you normally do, just writing down some notes, maybe writing down that this coffee's really good, and just writing down the price of it or something. No, she was writing Speedforce symbols, which was pretty weird. But yeah, we're going to see hopefully more of that. I don't know if we'd see it this episode, just because like we saw her in the crossover, and we had to wait like 2 or 3 extra episodes to get more of her. So I think they'll just slowly plant her in, might I say, throughout some episodes in this back half, and then she'll like pop up like fully on in maybe like episode 16, 17, 18, something around there, and she'll have a big episode there where we learn much more about her and what the hell she's doing, and what this like language that she's writing down is. There's a couple of options. A couple of people have been asking me. I'll probably go into more detail in a video this weekend, but just to give you guys a bit of a tease, it's either like obviously a Speedforce language, or the Speedforce symbols that like translate to another our language like English, or it's possibly a language from the future, like English just becomes nothing. Like no one writes in English anymore, they write like that. Or it's possibly the language of the Age of Enlightenment. Obviously that's what Clifford DeVoe was trying to bring forward. We know that Clifford DeVoe's been writing these symbols. It just matters how it connects to the Speedforce, unless Barry was seeing the future and that language was just like embedded in him. But I will do a video much more in depth on the weekend, most likely, about that. So yeah, because it's not really worth putting in here right now. The video would go for way too long. But now let's get on to giveaway time. So as I said, it is for a Funko Pop of your choice from any of the Arrowverse shows, whether it be Arrow, Flash, Legends, even Gotham if you really want it, any of those shows. And all you have to do is leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and answer this question in the comments section down below, which is, who is your favorite bus metahuman so far? So is it Ramsey Deacon, Kilgore? Is it Black Bison? Is it Ralph Dibny? Remember Ralph Dibny is a a bus metahuman as well, so you could do that. So just leave that in the comment section down below. Who is your favorite bus metahuman so far? You don't have to leave a reason why. You can if you want, but you just have to leave what bus metahuman is your favorite. That's all you have to do, as well as leaving a like on the video and subscribing to the channel, and you're entered. And I will announce the winner of that giveaway on next week's trailer breakdown. So exactly a week from now, I will announce the winner. So yeah, but thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Just let me know different thoughts and stuff like that in the comment section down below and what you're thinking about this episode. Yeah, do all that stuff to enter the giveaway, and I'll catch you guys on my next video. Goodbye.